The New Hampshire primary is personal for the Clintons. Hillary Clinton came from behind to win it 8 years ago, and former President Bill Clinton credits New Hampshire with boosting his candidacy in 1992 when he came in second.
New Hampshire tonight has made Bill Clinton the comeback kid.
And CBS News contributor Bob Schieffer has seen many of these primaries, and he is here to look at New Hampshire's crucial role in the election. Bob, good morning. Great to have you here.
Thank you very much. Well, the 100th New Hampshire primary, and I also will tell you, it was my 11th New Hampshire primary. I was out there over the weekend, and it just reminded me that the reason I love this primary is New Hampshire is where you get to learn a little extra about each of the candidates.
Who knew John Kasich was the go-to guy in a snowball fight? But he throws a mean, high, hard one. And Marco Rubio put his kid's snowman-making skill on display. Hillary Clinton found there is a risk to retail politics. Sometimes the message just doesn't sit well. But she and all the rest are finding selfies are the coin of the realm. They've become almost a requirement to win voter favor. Bernie Sanders is found throwing his coat is always a crowd pleaser.
So I feel like a rock and roll star.
There is historical precedent for throwing things. Back in 1984, Gary Hart went after votes by demonstrating his axe-throwing skills. Who knows when a president might have to throw an axe? Then in 1988, after Iowa voters thought George H.W. Bush was a little prissy, he put on a tractor hat and came to New Hampshire to show he was a regular guy by driving anything with big wheels. It actually worked. He won New Hampshire and the presidency, where someone else always does the driving. But it was reassuring to know he could have taken the wheel if he had to. In the year 2000, Republican candidate Gary Bauer was so anxious to show off his pancake flipping skills that he tossed one so high he fell off the stage. Except for his feelings, he wasn't hurt, but that was pretty much it for candidate Bauer.
So things may have gotten a little rowdy in the Republican debate the other night out there, but at least nobody fell off the stage.
And what's great about New Hampshire is everybody gets a chance to see a presidential candidate.
Exactly. This is the last stop where the voters actually take part, and that's the value. You get to see the reactions. It's grueling. You see stuff like that. I mean, you always get a little extra. I said one time, and I still believe it, New Hampshire never lets you down.
So what are you watching for tonight in particular?
You know, I think, I'm guessing that Trump is going to win, but I think a little of the air is out of his balloon after Iowa. When you say you're the winner, you're a winner, and then you lose, that's bound to have a little impact.
What about that slur, Bob, last night that he repeated from the crowd? His use of profanity. Yeah.
You know, what's the word? A little disappointing. I mean, I think
it's not hurting.
I think Americans want someone that they can be proud of in the Oval Office, and I mean, if you have to tell the children, I'm sorry, you're going to have to leave the room, I'm not sure that's going to help along the way. But, you know, I thought Trump had to be taken seriously from the beginning. What I missed is that when he would say things like John McCain is a loser and that kind of thing, I thought that's the end of it. And then when he had the thing with Megyn Kelly, I thought, well, that's the end of it. I missed that. I mean, it hasn't bothered him at all. And he's still ahead. I think in a way, some of his supporters are just so mad, so frustrated and upset with the way they're going. Sometimes they don't hear what he says. They're just glad he's out there saying it. So
New Hampshire could
we'll see what happens.
New Hampshire could also produce surprises.
You know,
and you don't have to win to be a surprise, which is interesting.
Yeah, what I'm keeping my eye on is John Kasich. Yeah. I went to one of his town halls. He's had 104 now. Think of that, 104 town halls in one state. And the one I went to the other day, we went out beforehand and just sort of went around and asked people, and there must have been, you know, a third of the people there who were undecided. And yet when he started talking, I'd see some of those undecided nodding their heads. So he's obviously getting through. His message is much different than the other Republicans. He's very positive. He talks about bringing people together. It's not my way as the highway kind of thing. I'm going to guess that he may do better than some people expect out there.
Let's talk about the Democratic.
Maybe second.
Let's talk about the Democratic race. Bill Clinton, they're saying that the big dog has gone on the big attack. You know, in 2008, when he led an aggressive campaign against Barack Obama, some people say that ended up backfiring. What do you think of his recent remarks?
Well, I'll say this, the Clinton campaign has some problems. I mean, obviously, I don't think she's going to do well, but that's excusable in New Hampshire because it's next door to Bernie Sanders' hometown, you know. But she's got to get this thing going. I mean, the fact that a guy who's never sought office as a Democrat is giving her such a fight says something about the strength of her campaign. I mean, Bill Clinton said the other day that Bernie Sanders is a sexist. That might be one step too far. He may be many things. I'm not sure it's that he's a sexist. But this thing is going to be rowdy, and I wouldn't be surprised after New Hampshire if there's not some kind of a shakeup in the Clinton campaign.
Let's talk about Mike Bloomberg. Yeah, there were stories on that today that she's looking at the options. But let's talk about Mike Bloomberg, who for the first time is admitting publicly that he's considering his options. You've talked to him.
I did. I talked to him about a couple of weeks ago, and Charlie knows him well, probably knows more about this than I do. And he told me off the record, I guess now that he's talking publicly about it, I'm not breaking any rules here. He told me then that he was going to decide within a month whether or not to do it. I'm thinking it's looking more and more like he's going to do it.
Yeah. I mean, he has the advantage of being able to, right now, while he's looking at it, knowing that he doesn't have to decide or believing he doesn't have to decide until March, and go out and find out exactly what he has to do if he decides.
But the question now, and I think a lot of people are going to be talking about, who does he help and who does he hurt if he gets into the race?
But his comments about the level of discourse is an outrage and insult to the voters.
Well, I couldn't disagree with that.
Yeah,
No.
Right.
Almost everybody agrees with that.
Bob Schieffer, thank you.
It's
Loved
great
it.
to be here.
Great
Thanks,
to have you
Bob.
here. And CBS News will bring you a Republican presidential debate from South Carolina this weekend. You can watch it Saturday night. That's at 9, 8 Central, right here on CBS.